top 5 most dangerous workouts at the gym. All right, before we get started, I am not going to recommend that you do or that you don't do any of these exercises. Not my job, not what I'm here for. I'm just gonna break down which movements are the most dangerous, and then which ones that you need to use the most caution so you don't hurt yourself or hurt anyone else. All right, so starting with the first one, we have mace swings. These are wild workouts where you literally use a mace as a workout to swing around and do some, mobility workouts. For those that don't know, a mace is literally like an old medieval weapon. So if I just toggle over here, I want to show you what these look like. If you ever played any old video games, watched Lord of the Rings or something like that, you see that there's these maces, which were these weapons that either had, a blunt ending where you would just like bludger someone or hit someone, or they had like these spikes so you could really fuck somebody up with it. So they're like literally weapons, but they've also turned them into workout equipment. They look a little bit different. Obviously, they're not necessarily just meant for injuring people and fighting to the death with them. You got like all these different types, right? They've got this mace that has this ball at the end, and they have a couple other ones here that look more like little half baseball bats or something like that. They're typically made of complete metal. Now, these workouts are actually really good. They're kind of gaining in popularity. I've seen them, at different gyms around the US, and I've seen different people use these for different workouts. I mean, they're great for shoulder strength and mobility. They're really good for your forearm strength, grip strength, as well as your core strength. So it really works your abs as you're stabilizing and swinging the things around. But I mean, it's easy to do this wrong. Think about if you're swinging a club. I mean, not only is it possible for you to injure someone that's walking by, or for you to accidentally swing it into yourself or something like that. I actually have a friend that was using this one time doing a workout, and he goes to a gym where they have tons of different maces, and he slammed it into his own toe, injuring his toe, hurt really bad. So I mean, not only can you injure yourself, can you hurt yourself, but you can also hurt others, if they're walking by, if you're not being careful or whatever. I actually know I went to this gym in Austin, Texas, which is called On It, and they use a ton of different maces. They're really big on it there. They actually require an entire certification in order for their trainers to be able to use maces in their workout programs with their clients. So if you need a whole separate certification, then that probably means that you need to proceed with some caution. Let's jump back over here. I want to show you kind of what this looks like. As you can see, we have this video of this guy demonstrating, right? He literally looks like a Viking, but he's holding it with 2 hands, and then he's like got this big swinging motion, right? Where he's going over his head, boom, back to center, boom. It's like you could totally fuck somebody up with this. I mean, that is a very heavy mace. There's different ways to do it. Right here, he's like switching up his strength, his grip rather. He's going like halfway and then he's swinging it around. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this one. Comment below if you would try this. Would you ever try swinging this mace around? Like, I want to know, because I've never personally done it. So I want to know which of you guys would try this so that I know if I should give it a go. All right, up for number 2, we have the deadlift. Now, this is a classic compound movement that works mostly your legs, mostly your hamstrings and your glutes, but really everything. And it's a well-known workout where you can easily injure yourself if you're not doing the right form. This is a power lifter's go-to. This is what people who are really into building their legs, really into building their strength are gonna go for. But it does require pretty much impeccable form in order to not injure yourself. And it's very common for people to really, really increase the weight because they're trying to impress themselves, or maybe they're trying to hit a personal best or personal record, something like that. Plenty of horror stories, plenty of times where people have gone to do this workout, executed it improperly, or used too much weight and completely fucked themselves up. We're gonna watch this video here of this guy who seemingly snaps his spine. Over here, we have this video of this guy who's doing this deadlift, and he looks like he makes it all the way up. He drops the weight and he's just like, oh, what's going on? And then, oh, he's wobbling, boom, and he just keels over. Let's watch that again. I mean, that's a horror story. Look, okay, you can see the video playing again. But I mean, like, this is the type of stuff that happens, like, if you're doing it wrong, like, you can seriously injure yourself. And then for number 3, we actually have the bench press. Now, this is a very common workout. This is one of the classic chest workouts, where you're using a barbell. You've typically got a rack to put the barbell on when you're done. And, this is one that a lot of people do. It's super common. I do it. I'm a big fan of the bench press. But I mean, you just got to think about it. Almost every time I go to do the bench press, I realize I'm like, wow, this is actually a pretty dangerous workout. Like, I'm sitting there, I've got all this weight directly in front of my head as I'm laying down, horizontally. And I'm like, if I were to just drop the weight, or if it were to just like slip out from my hand somehow, I mean, I'm just gonna drop a weight of, 150 to 220 pounds just right on my skull. I mean, I could just crack your face, break your teeth, crush your skull, I don't know. hit your jugular. Something to mention here is that with the bench press, it is super easy to spot. So I feel like a lot of bench press machines make it very easy to have another person, maybe a gym partner, someone you're there with, to step behind you and really be there to spot you and to make sure if something goes wrong. Now, while you might say that's a good thing and that makes it easier or safer rather, what it actually does because you have a spotter is it promotes you to be a little bit ballsier, to go heavier, to try to hit those personal records, right? That's kind of what it incentivizes, because you're like, oh, I got somebody here, it's no big deal, like, you know, they'll help me out, I won't hurt myself. But as we can see in the video that I'm about to show you, just because you have a spotter does not mean that this workout is not dangerous. So here we have Larry Wheels and this other bodybuilder guy who's doing this, he's spotting him, and boom, if you see that left pec there, all right, we're gonna get another look here because I think there's a better angle here. But obviously you have this bodybuilder, Larry Wheels, who's jacked, who's spotting this other guy, and he's doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plates on each side. I'm not even gonna do the math, but that is a shit ton of weight. And then if we play the video here, look at his left pec. Boom, just pops, and then he just scatters out. I mean, you know, so you can see right there, that guy's pec just bursts or just popped out, or, you know, he split the pec or whatever it was there, but he's definitely severe. That looks like a severe injury. I'm sure that guy was out of the gym and probably out of commission, probably couldn't even really use his, you know, left arm. As common as this workout is, I've always thought it was quite dangerous. I mean, who's with me? Like this video if you've thought about how dangerous the bench press is every single time you do it. All right, up next we have box jumps. All right, this is where you are going to see people in the gym, they're stacking boxes. Sometimes they actually have these individual pads at the gym, which are marked like 12 inches, 6 inches, 18 inches, or whatever, and you can stack them on top of each other to try to increase your vertical jump. This works great as you progress. You can start basically at the bottom where it's very easy to make that jump, to jump from the ground all the way to the top of the platform or the boxes that you're stacking up. But what happens as you really begin to progress? What happens as you really begin to push the limits and you're, you know, really close to being able to either make it and fully be okay, or just completely biff and f yourself up? What happens if you miss? You ever think about that? Well, you eat shit. That's what happens. I feel like this workout looks cool, and although it might be cool and it might be fun to stack boxes at the gym and, you know, jump really high and show your friends and videotape it and whatever else, it's like, what utility does it really have? I mean, in normal, everyday life, you know, you're not competing at the Olympics, you're not a professional athlete that really needs to improve their vertical or something like that. I mean, there's other ways to build your legs and to build stability and things like that. Why do you need to jump that high? What, are you going on the next season of Ninja Warrior or something? I mean, just look at this guy. Okay, this guy's not really in shape, but, you know, we'll take a look here and see what we got. Boom, he jumps up. Oh, and just eats it, right? So we'll go back and we'll see that. So it looks like he makes it, but obviously his weight is like way too far forward, right? So like it's not even that high. And this guy isn't really in great shape or whatever either, but then you play it and it just tumbles over. You know, he's probably not using the best equipment either, but just totally eats it. And then there's all these other, you know, examples. Look, this woman goes up, oh, boom, and then just falls right on her neck, basically. I mean, you know, she's lucky she didn't, you know, break part of her vertebrae or something, or, you know, even get paralyzed. And maybe she was, I don't know. But there's all these different, you know, examples. This is a confirmation. Oh, ooh. I mean, his leg could have easily gotten, he's laughing, he's smiling, he's like, oh, you got me on camera. But like with these metal bars and the way that that kind of bounced and he fell weird, I mean, he could have easily twisted a leg, got caught under his own weight, you know, pinned his leg down and, like, you know, broke his shin or broke his tibia or one of the bones in his leg, something like that. All right, now before the last one here, go ahead and subscribe below for more videos about the do's and don'ts of, you know, fitness, biohacking, and nutrition. Last up is going to be kettlebell swings. Now you've probably seen these. These have been gaining in popularity probably over the last 10 years or so. This involves swinging a giant ball that's connected to a metal handle. And this isn't your typical slow and controlled movement either. It's not like we're doing a, you know, bicep curl or, you know, a slow press or something like this. This is a kettlebell swing is what most people are using these kettlebells for, where they're taking an already heavy weight and they're swinging it aggressively up and down, you know, between their legs and all around. So it uses a lot of different body parts. Typically, they're gonna be fully made of metal, okay? And you definitely need to use proper form here as you're really engaging your back, your legs, a few other muscles as well. I've done these plenty of times and it's definitely easy to wrench your back if you don't know what you're doing. Other things you could do is you could smack your knee on the way down. You know, if you're not perfectly in between your legs, you could smack your knee on the way down. You could overcompensate, bringing the kettlebell way too up high, then lose it and drop it on your face. There's all these different ways you could f yourself up. All right, we're gonna jump over to this video here. As it comes down, it plays kind of quick, but it'll replay it. It's not actually this first guy in white that makes a mistake. It's the guy behind him. So he's coming down with the kettlebell, boom, and then, Oh, and he's back. So I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but it looks like he overcompensated. He brought, it was too heavy. He brought it too far down, and it totally swung his body around. I mean, he's probably swinging. That looks like a pretty big kettlebell. That could be, 60, 80 pounds, and that guy didn't look like that big of a guy. So, I mean, what could have happened is he was just, overcompensating. It was way too much weight. He swung it too much. The momentum got to him, and boom, there he goes, takes a tumble. I would say you can definitely do this safely and effectively if you know what you're doing and you're being careful, but I would say it is one of the more dangerous workouts in the gym, and it's probably not something you want to do if you're a complete beginner. That's it for this video. Have a great rest of your week.